She's the Aussie who made history, but few know about. Dorothy Drain broke the mould as one of our first female war correspondents and editor of one of our most popular magazines. Now, Dot's story has been immortalised with a rare honour. Dorothy Drain was a trailblazer and a character.
It never changed with those thick lens glasses, smoking away. We used to call her Miss Drain. Hello, Miss Drain. I just admired her enormously to this day.
Who not only reported on history, but made it as one of the first Australian women to report from the front lines of war.
Well, it was always dangerous. All journalists had was a typewriter.
Ita Buttrose took over from Dorothy as editor of the Australian Women's Weekly in 1975.
Dorothy just knew that if she wanted to achieve all the goals she'd set herself in life, she would have to go after them. And she did. When she made her mind up that she was going to get a story, she got the story, by hook or by crook.
Leaving a legacy that New South Wales Heritage Minister Penny Sharp says lives on to this day.
Dorothy Drain is an Australian hero. She was a war correspondent. She wrote for the Women's Weekly for decades. She became the editor. But importantly, she just told stories and shared news with Australian women in particular in a time when it was very hard to do so.
A time during World War II when the army argued women couldn't be trusted, that they'd distract the serving men, even that there weren't any toilets.
Now, I don't know what they think women do when they go to the toilet, but, you know, really the bloke's toilet is just as good as a female toilet.
Well, she just stopped eating and drinking and basically made sure that she could hold on for a long time. It's a really classic case of where women were in places that they hadn't been before and they just did what was necessary to do the job.
Giving a different take of life on the front line in places like Korea, Japan, Malaya and Vietnam.
6:30 a.m. first light. We take off with a load of parachutes and assorted servicemen, Vietnamese, American, Australian.
And blazing a trail for others, like current Women's Weekly editor Sophie Tedmanson.
It was hugely important for her to bring a woman's perspective to what was going on over there, and especially giving the readers back home who were the mothers and sisters and daughters of the men who were at war, a more sort of human and female perspective.
And she saw Hiroshima, and she saw the devastation that the atomic bomb had left behind. And she began to write about the futility of war. And she was very anti-war.
Dorothy overcame many challenges, including a medical misdiagnosis as a teenager that stopped her from reading for 2 years.
I just don't think she believed it. She read everything she could possibly lay her hands on. So I think she might have disobeyed the doctor's orders.
I think it's extraordinary, and for someone like her to go through that but still, come out the other side and not only pave a career in writing but also photography as well is really extraordinary. It shows the strength of character that she has.
So thank you for letting us invade your home.
That's absolutely fine.
Helen Richards now lives in the Sydney house Dorothy Drain called home.
So this would have been her bedroom. It didn't look like this then,
Sure.
but we've done it up. She was quite eccentric, and I think she used to go out the back and read the Women's Weekly, and she had them all stacked up outside in the kitchen.
Piles of them?
Piles of them in the kitchen, yeah.
What stories are contained in these walls?
These walls, there's probably stories I don't know about.
Probably some you don't want to know about too.
Yeah, probably. Yes.
The story of her life now immortalised,
Right, let's get this off.
with the unveiling of a new heritage blue plaque.
There we go, hooray!
A feature her former neighbours Gideon and Adrian Rutherford say is fast becoming a tourist attraction.
I love the plaque, and I think it really, a lot of people go past and look at it, scan it, and yeah.
Surprising how many people stop, look at it, and then take their little photo.
But it's lovely to have that history recognised, isn't it?
It's like wandering around London, all the plaques for different places and people.
Yes. Well, it's that same idea, isn't it?
Yes, it gives a history.
There are only around 50 of these blue heritage plaques recognising important people and places in our nation's history. Dorothy Drain now joining the likes of children's author May Gibbs, aviator Nancy Bird Walton and artist Brett Whiteley.
So they tell the story of people. It's less about the building. It's about who was the person who lived here.
Oh, I think it's wonderful. It's encouraging for all women to see what one woman with determination achieved. The blue plaque means that women like Dorothy are no longer overlooked. I think it's a wonderful tribute.
Yeah, it is great to see recognition for a woman who was a truly remarkable Australian.